Wisdom. It's an incredibly valuable asset. Some would say more precious than gold. It's attractive, appealing, admirable. Conversely, a lack of wisdom is the basis of immaturity, blind spots, and bad decisions. Wisdom. It can be gained over time, but it can't be rushed. But wisdom can be shared. That's precisely what we are here to do right now. Today, we are here to hack wisdom, to distill it, to understand it, and to process it. Why? To get better at life. Welcome to the main thing. This is your new 9-minute podcast. I'm your host, Skip Lineberg, and I've set out to interview the wisest people I know. We'll see what we can learn from each one when they're faced with an incredibly difficult, soul-piercing question. Welcome back to the Main Thing podcast. I'm your host, Skip Lineberg, coming to you today from Parkwood Studios. Our special guest today has a unique story. When COVID hit, Ben Albert was furloughed from work. He found himself down and out, staring at an empty handle of Jim Beam whiskey. Ben was unemployed, depressed, and feeling unworthy. Hesitantly, he opened his laptop and started reaching out to strangers on LinkedIn. This spearheaded his entrepreneurial journey. Ben Albert is the owner of Balbert Marketing. He's also the curator of the Real Business Connections network. He hosts 5 podcasts, and in a little more than a year's time, Ben has replaced the income from his prior sales job and is now running a successful business. Ben resides in Rochester, New York. Get ready, over the next 9 minutes, you will discover why Ben Albert is one of the wisest people I know. Ben Albert, welcome to the Main Thing podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday.
I'm excited to be here. Very grateful to be with you, Skip.
Hey, Ben, I've got a proposition for you. Let's warm up the mics with a few quirky questions from the PodDecks, this deck of quirky questions from the fine folks at PodDecks. What do you say?
I'm into it. Let's go.
Okay. Lightning round with the PodDecks questions goes like this. 5 questions at random, 5 quirky questions, 10 seconds each. And here we go for question 1. Ben Albert, what's one bad habit you're trying to get rid of?
Staying up late and sleeping in.
Very nice. All right. Question 2, lightning round. What is your most treasured possession? Here we go.
Wow. That's a tough one, Skip. Most treasured possession? I'm just going to cheat and say this body I'm in right now, this human body.
I like it. I get it. That's a very real answer. Nice job, Ben. Question 3, lightning round. Here we go. What is your recurring nightmare?
My recurring nightmare. I don't want to be the man I was in the past.
Repeating a day or a portion of your life over and over again would be your recurring nightmare.
Yeah, I don't want to be the man I was yesterday.
Okay.
I'd rather be the man I'm going to be in the future.
I love the spirit of that. Awesome. We have 2 more to go. Lightning round. Let's play fast, think quick. And question 4, Ben Albert, what are you most excited about right now?
I'm excited to be here with you, Skip. This moment's what matters most to me, so I'm excited to be here with you.
What a fine answer. What a fine, respectful answer. Here we go. Question 5, the last of them. Ben Albert, when were your parents most disappointed in you?
Oof. Probably when I got a DWI. I was 21 years old, and that's the kind of person that I don't want to be today, so really let them down.
Authentic, honest answer. Love it. Great job. Nice job with the lightning round, my man. Awesome. Ben, I wanted to talk about podcasting. It's what we have in common. It's how we met. What do you love most about podcasting today? What do you love about it?
So I love that it's still kind of an uncrowded channel. There's a lot of podcasts, but there's room for growth. But beyond it being a great channel for me, a marketer, I love that every single day I get to learn something new about myself, about my guests. I get to hone soft skills. I get to have brilliant conversations with people that are significantly smarter than me that might not be able to give me the time of day if I didn't have a podcast. But since I have an opportunity to scale that conversation, they might charge $1,000 for a speech or a consultation call, and they're willing to give me 45 minutes to an hour just because I have that platform for them. So yeah, I'm nerding out learning from people way smarter than I am, Skip.
Ben, let's tell the full story of how we met. In the introduction, folks just a moments ago heard me mention that COVID disrupted your life. You were somewhat down on your luck, feeling a little hopeless, and you took a big, deep breath, took a dose of confidence and courage, and started reaching out to people on LinkedIn.
Absolutely, Skip. And a good friend of mine, Linda Healer, she always says you got to do the next best thing in front of your nose. You might not always have the right answer, the perfect strategy, but when I started my business, I was binge drinking. I was in a bad place. I was basically reliving my father's past and unhappy and
Mm.
sitting there with a bottle of Jim Beam empty, and I was unemployed. And I just got on LinkedIn and I didn't have my podcast yet, my business show. And I just started reaching out to local business entrepreneurs and business people saying, hey, listen, I have an idea for a business podcast. Congrats on making it big time, man. I really love what you do because of this reason. I think you'd be a great fit for like the pilot kind of first season of the show. So I started my podcast not really having business connections, but reaching out to people on LinkedIn and just, doing the first thing in front of my nose, trying to connect with people and
Mm-hmm.
learn from them. Now, way down a year and a half later, the podcast is growing, it's sustainable, it's going great. But I wanted to build my network of other podcasters. So, Skip, I cold messaged you. I liked what I had to see, and now we're friends.
Hey there, Wisdom Warriors. Skip here with something to share. We have a new way for you to help support the production of our show to keep the wisdom flowing. We call it the Main Thing Merch Store. Really, it's a simple way for you to get the things you might already be using every day. Items like water bottles, tote bags, mugs, tumblers, and even beach towels. All are adorned with our beautiful marigold and burgundy brand mark. Now, when you buy Main Thing merch, it helps you remember and share the wisdom you get here at the Main Thing Podcast. It helps support the people, processes, and operations that make this show possible. So scroll up in the show notes, click the hyperlink to go shopping at the Main Thing merch store. When you get there, be sure to use the promo code WISDOM at checkout to snag a 10% discount. That's the word wisdom in all caps. Saving 10% on your purchase? Now that's a really wise move. Ben, this brings us to the pivotal moment in our show where I ask you, like I ask each of my wise guests, Ben Albert, what's the main thing you've learned in your lifetime so far?
Skip, the main thing I've learned so far is there is no perfect answer to big questions.
Whoa, wow. I love what you did there. There's no perfect answer to big questions. Let's break that down a little bit. I would love it if you would sort of unpack that because I know you and I know that's nuanced with meaning and just layered with different levels of meaning there. So go ahead and unpack it for us.
Please, Skip, and I promise it's not a cop out, even though it's sort of a cop out because I'm laying in bed last night and I wrote down a long list of possible answers because at different times in my life, different insights have served me better, whether it's gratitude or asking questions or it's okay to be
Mm-hmm.
human or not doing things alone. There's a lot of things that are important, but I've found that every time I think I have the answer, I just pigeonhole myself from growth. And when I realize that I don't have the answer and that there's no perfect answer to big questions, and I continue to ask questions, I can get a more holistic, thorough, nuanced understanding. Whether or not I ever find the perfect answer, whether or not there ever will be a main thing, as long as I continue to learn, listen, and ask questions, that is the beauty in life as far as I see it.
Yeah, wow. That's a dynamite answer and a great philosophy to keep and to hold on to. A couple things come to mind. Number one is just a real openness. Is that something that is part of how you live?
100%. It's totally necessary every day.
Be open to what the day holds. Be open to what God brings in front of you on any given day and just be receptive to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, the other thing that that I heard in your response, your main thing had to do with there's no perfect answer. So don't be a perfectionist. Is that part of the meaning there too?
100%. You can't be a perfectionist because you're not perfect and you're never going to do something perfectly. So why aspire to be something that's not possible?
Yeah. Have you ever struggled with perfectionism in your life?
100%. Sometimes the whole
Yeah.
Nike just do it. Sometimes you need
Yeah.
to publish a podcast that didn't come out perfectly, but that's okay. And it still is valuable.
Right. I love your answer. It's so unique, and you just sort of flip the question not in a cop-out way, but in a real meaningful way. Ben, is there anything today that we didn't cover that you hoped we'd cover? Anything that you want to share with our audience of growth-minded individuals?
Yeah, I just want to set an intention for anyone listening today to start asking big questions and realize you might not ever have the perfect answer. That's one thing I'm really humbled to be on your show, Skip, because you ask a big question and it's been
Hmm.
answered so many different ways, and no answer is right or wrong. They're all good. So start asking big questions to yourself, start asking big questions to people in your lives, and remain curious, like we talked about today, Skip. As long as the audience does that, I'm sure they'll be successful in anything they want to do.
Perfect. Great advice. Great place to leave it. Ben Albert, I can't thank you enough for sharing your time and your ideas and your approach to life with us today on the Main Thing podcast.
Thanks for having me, Skip. It's been a pleasure.
Take good care, my friend. Wow, 9 minutes is up. That goes by incredibly fast, doesn't it? Time flies when you're hacking wisdom. I hope you're left wanting more. Sync up with us again next time on The Main Thing for 9 more minutes of wisdom.